Calling the February meeting to order. Go ahead and turn on your microphones if you have turned them off in front of you, and remember to speak in the microphone for all of those that like to speak in the microphone. So we can, including you. Then we're good. We need to excuse Commissioner Rivenbark and Mr. Briggs.
Motion to excuse?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, we need, so we need a motion to amend the agenda. So I'm making this motion. I move to amend the agenda to strike the following items from the Long Range Planning Committee report, the selected ongoing CIP project updates, and potential future LRPC update topics. The committee deferred these items to a future long-range planning, planning committee meeting, and they haven't been presented before the committee, but we didn't get the agenda updated in time. So I just need a second on that.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. And so I need a motion to adopt the agenda as revised.
So moved.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. Dr. Cannon, the minutes?
We have minutes from our January 8th meeting, including the packet. If there are no discussions or changes, I'll take a motion to approve those. So move to Chair will.
Any question on the minutes? Okay. Motion to approve both the regular meeting and the Southside workshop.
Yep.
Yep. Okay.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. Any public comments? Okay, thanks. All right, moving on to the consent agenda. And so if you have any questions on any of these, we'll pull them and vote on them individually. But the consent agenda is as presented. Any questions? Mr. Smith?
No.
Oh, okay. All right.
Engineering.
Then I'll take a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
My goodness, this is easy this morning. Waiting for a shoe to drop. Okay, moving on to new business administrative report, the attorney's report.
So I do not have a report for open session, but I do have a number of items for closed session.
Okay. All right. Executive director's report.
We have the key indicators report, the safety report, the environmental report, and the strategic plan update, as well as the economic development project update reports. And as a reminder, our staff are working on trying to find ways to consolidate these reports. I'm very pleased with the work they're doing. We hope to bring something forward in the next couple of months for your consideration. There is a survey out there seeking your feedback. Any questions on the reports as presented?
Madam Chair?
Go ahead.
Thanks. Ken, on the key indicators, as much of a comment or seeking your thoughts on it, in a continuation of the discussion that I've had over the last several years, I guess, development services, we're seeing the inspections performed at, I think it was 109. 12 months ago, it was 219. So a drop there, yet what looks like a remarkable increase in requests for information. In other words, it seems almost schizophrenic from 12 months ago, or what I put in my notes here, a roller coaster. Are there any thoughts percolating up in your meetings internally?
So think about how the process unfolds for our development community. They investigate development opportunities, and we will get inquiries regarding that. Then they'll work with either the city or county to look at land use administration, and they'll be engaging an engineer to consider design, and we will get engaged there. And this is something of a lengthy process, with inspections being on the back end of that process. So if you think about the development curve going up and down, we definitely, on the inspection side of things, seeing the decline we've all been talking about. But on the front end of the process, we're seeing more inquiries, which, this is just, I'm going into opinion now, this is all fact
so I
now
asked
into
for it, yeah.
opinion, is the good work of this board and of the county and the city to prepare, the next frontier activities. So we're getting a lot of inquiries about our work to build that backbone. And then, of course, that generates interest in the development community to ask questions and ensure timing and secure funding. So if I remember correctly, we'll be done with our projects in 2026, 2027. There'll be some that I think are in 2027. I'm looking back towards you, Gary. It's probably in our report. I'm sorry. It's in the report for the timelines. There'll be an overlap of periods where the development community is securing property, securing permits, working with us to secure capacity, and then hopefully there's very little delay between the time our infrastructure is ready and then they're connecting. So that's a long-winded way to say, I think the work you have done to support orderly growth is showing some early signs of success, early. Let's see how it goes, because there's a lot of factors.
That was the answer I was hoping for, so. Just a point of clarification, when we get a mark for somebody looking for information, it's not necessarily a specific job or project. Is that correct?
That's a detail that I don't know. If it's okay, I'd be glad to bring forth our chief engineer to give his thoughts on it.
So development of large tract inquiries generally comes in through a request for master planning. And those are tied to the land, and we provide recommended methodologies or options for how to provide water and sewer to these large tracts of land. And that metric is not in the request for information metric, which is more granular and typically more for on a lot basis, where a developer has completed construction, completed their plats and everything, and then they'll come in mass and ask about meter sizing and those sorts of questions and fees. So the request for information metric is more about on the tail end of the process, where if a large development is completed, they've completed a phase, they'll come to staff, provide a bunch of addresses, and then the meter sizing fees and that information is all provided in mass.
So, Gary, thank you for that explanation. So when I see in this month's report 111 requests for information, those 111 are all tied individually to a project or a piece of land or something specific.
A building lot.
Yeah, building lot. It's not just a general, request for, hey, what's happening up in the last frontier?
No, sir. It's tied to a specific address with very granular information, and we could give you a list of all 111.
No, I just want to know what it is I'm looking at when I look at that number.
Yes, sir.
Thanks. I
You're welcome.
appreciate the explanation.
If I might, Gary, how are we doing in terms of master planning in that area?
Well, to quote an old pizza commercial, business is booming. We have a lot of interest. We have a lot of development vested in the area that's got their finger on the pulse of the economic development projects. I think that the investment up there is going to do very well, and we're not seeing any slowing down. If anything, the inquiries and requests are increasing.
Great.
Yes, ma'am.
Are the inspections just off a little because of we had a number of holidays in January, plus we had the snow and the county closures, so I would think that might have impacted the trend.
I would tend to agree with that because, yes, I mean, the number of inspections are scheduled by development, and if most people spend time over the holidays with their families, and there were 3 days with the inclement weather that hardly anybody asked for inspections. So our staff was prepared to respond had they asked.
Sorry, I just had one other question not related to that. On the key indicator report, again, it's just a comment that I noticed that the turnover and vacancy rates are the lowest we've had in 12 months, which to me is really positive and says we're doing something really good. Thank you, that was all, man.
Okay. Madam Chair?
Yep.
I apologize. Can we go back to the consent agenda? I just was thinking about this earlier. Are these grants under the bipartisan infrastructure law, are they imperiled at all, or are we good to go?
We received communication from DWI that our grants were not impacted by the executive orders, or that they felt like that they could move forward with the grants is probably a more accurate summary. And I'm looking back in the audience, I'm seeing nodding heads.
Let's cash those checks quickly.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
All right, any other questions for the executive director's report? Okay. Moving on to executive committee. The executive committee met last week, February 4th. Those minutes are in your packet for review. We have one item to come before the board. It's on page 110 of your packet if you want to actually review it. But essentially, it's a request for an authorization to change the articles of incorporation and to specifically remove the term limits for board members. There's language that essentially we want the ones, we're asking that the one sentence be struck that says no appointee shall serve more than 3 full consecutive terms. An appointee who serves 3 full consecutive terms shall not be eligible for reappointment to the authority for 1 year. The executive committee approved this last week. We would like the board to approve it, and then we would make a request from Ken to our parent organizations for those changes to be made within our articles of incorporation.
If I might, I've been speaking with individual board members, especially those board members that are also members of our sponsoring organizations, about this for a couple of months. As you know, as a board, our greatest challenge as an organization, perhaps in our entire history, is coming up over the next couple of years. The funding of the Southside Wastewater Treatment Plant and managing the impact that that has on rates, fees, and charges. And a concern that I've raised with you individually is as we kind of work through this very complicated problem, some of our most experienced board members are being term limited out from participating. I was recommending that our sponsoring organizations amend our articles of incorporation so that they can choose, have the freedom to choose or not, existing board members to continue. And of course, this is only giving our sponsoring organizations more freedom. It doesn't demand or request of them to reappoint individuals. That's totally up to them.
And should this, oh,
Just real quick, I'm certainly in favor of this. I think it's important for the institutional knowledge and, like you said, the projects that we have coming forward to keep a lot of the folks that we have sitting around this table involved and engaged. I do think maybe it's important when this comes before our respective organizations that you or somebody come just kind of explain the thought process there. I'm sure there'll be some questions that you're qualified to answer.
I'd be glad to.
and I was just going to share that should this be approved, communications will go to both the city attorney and county attorney, and a formal letter sent to both organizations.
So I'd like to get a motion from the board to approve this request.
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, great. Moving on, the next item is long-range planning committee.
Long-range planning met virtually on January 23rd. Basically, we discussed, had a presentation for the 2026 10-year CIP preview of major projects and programs. Basically, the takeaway, staff was recommending the deferral of $83.7 million of projects past fiscal year 2030 in order to mitigate rate impacts on the south, regarding south, basically trying to save money for south side. There were other items that we did not get to that we have taken off the agenda
Yep.
and should be discussed at the next meeting.
At the request of the committee, we have an abbreviated version of the CIP presentation that our chief engineer is going to provide. As he comes up to provide that, I want to set the stage. As you know, from long experience, the way we set up the CIP is it goes through a risk versus consequence matrix. And for many years, that matrix has been focused entirely on minimizing risk and avoiding high consequence. With the cost increase associated with Southside, for the first time, I challenged our engineering team to reconsider how much risk that we should take on. I encouraged them to look at projects and offer some options around deferral, not removal, but deferral of projects. And deferring them will increase risk. So we've got to start with that conversation and how much risk we're willing to accept to minimize rate increases going forward. So with that being said, the committee felt like it was very important for you to be exposed to that conversation. We're not suggesting that we do a deep dive into the recommendations today, just expose you to it and make you aware that the committee is wrestling for the first time with a different risk approach, again, to mitigate rate increases. So Gary will go through a short presentation to describe our current set of recommendations.
The full presentation is in your package. I'll be willing to answer any questions regarding the full presentation, specific projects, either now or afterwards. So this, last year, the FY 2026 capital budget was $60.8 million, and the 10-year CIP was $328.5 million, with the south side replacement estimated at $239 million. Current south side working assumption with that south side project team is currently $425 million, which would add $186 million to south side if that's the case. And so we've evaluated the CIP, collaborated throughout the organization, and identified projects for elimination or deferral past 2030, which John kind of indicated as a sweet spot. If you could get it past 2030, it could help mitigate rate impacts. And we've done no analysis about what that mitigation would be. John, to my knowledge, has done no analysis. And staff is also recommending some projects for additional funding, and we will go into that all in detail at the workshop. So just to summarize it, we're recommending deferrals past 2030 for $83,700,000 in projects. There are two projects on here that are risk-related, and as you see on the asterisk, there will be additional conditional assessments that will feed into next year's CIP to help us know if that's a confirmed decision. The Find It, Fix It water funding, we're recommending funding that at the next 5 years at about $2.8 million. And that would reduce, be able to reduce it by $25 million. We've had some great things happen with grants and things that help us defer that we can go into later. The other item that's we're going to be doing some analysis on is the Northeast Interceptor force main that runs from Pump Station 34 to the Southside plant. We're planning on doing, there was some significant analysis that was done on this project in years past, even prior to consolidation. We're planning on going back and evaluating through non-destructive testing that aspect of that force main. We will do that over the coming months, and that will help inform next year's CIP. So the good news is here we've got a $83.7 million recommended deferral. The details of the deferrals are in your package. So with the deferrals there also come some project funding increases recommended, and the largest being the South Side increase. We also have an interlocal agreement with the City of Wilmington where they do work. We have some obligations to move our water and sewer main. That is an interlocal agreement that occurred at the time of our formation. And so we've worked with city staff and estimate that next year that cost will be less than or equal to $2.5 million based on our current ability to estimate that. Northside Wastewater Treatment Plant needs some new blowers, $2 million. River Road Booster Pump Station needs additional budget, $2.3 million. South Castle Hayne Road Water Main needs additional budget, $3 million. Both these projects are very important. River Road Booster Pump Station will take all of our existing emergency wells down south on the Monterey Heights system, Veterans Park, and float all of that system on Sweeney. It's a fairly complicated project because it's not just a water line, it's a booster pump station, but it eliminates a significant amount of risk, not only from well failure, but also possible migration of PFAS down there. We're clean now, but we want to stay that way for our customers. South Castle Hayne Road water main is essential to be able to provide the water in the water to the next frontier. Richardson Water Treatment Plant raw water biogrowth elimination. You'll see another request in here to do that project is design build, and so you'll learn more about that at that time. Bayshore Water Main is actually combining two existing projects that were planned to be able to float the elevated water tank out at Porter's Neck to allow growth and fire flow, but it has also taken on new importance because it will allow the expansion of Sweeney into existing Richardson supplied areas to help us keep from over pumping those PD wells, which has significant consequences in regard to potential growth of biogrowth likes oxygen, and also potential cost could be deferred as far as expanding the well field in the near future to do that. So net on that, we're if you add in the $186 million to these other project increases, you wind up $206.3 million. With the deferrals recommended, you reduce that by 83.7. So the impact, kind of going back to the first slide, the impact of South Slide total winds up at potentially, based on the best information that the project team has, approximately $122.6 million. And now, some of these deferrals that we mentioned earlier on are likely going to be deferred outside of the 10-year, and some of them taken care of in other ways. Others will just occur right on the end. But we'll go into that at the workshop. And the FY 2026 and 10-year CIP schedule. In February, the draft CIP will be presented to the Long Range Planning Committee. In March, the draft CIP will be presented to the full board workshop adjacent to the board meeting then. And then in April, we hope that you will approve the final CIP after we have received your input and made corrections. Are there any questions on this presentation or the presentation in your full packet? Yes, sir.
Are some of those projects that are being deferred that were capacity upgrades, was the idea to defer those that we would not need that capacity to prevent growth beyond, if pushing those back, what's the implication of that? Can you speak a little bit about those projects?
Yes, sir.
In general, not specific.
In general, in general, Pump Station 95, we did some analysis with the engineer that designed it, and staff wound up changing impellers, gained enough capacity that it was not a concern. Also, the state's change from 120 gallons per day per bedroom to 75 days per bedroom provided some benefits there.
Right.
And that, in general, helped other things. Councilman Rivenbark asked about Pump Station 14 capacity, which serves 421 in downtown. I checked that. There's ample capacity. And in your presentation, in your package, it discusses how many 3-bedroom homes could be supported on both of those. No, that's Pump Station 12, and then Pump Station 14 is not a capacity concern. Pump Station 57, there is remaining capacity there. It's possible that development in that area might have to handle that, but the capacity concerns at the time this was programmed many years ago have not arisen, and so that's a clear one we can pull off the books.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Gary, in passing, I thought I heard in your comments some potential for connection between the pond reductions up there in the Porter's Neck area and biogrowth that we're experiencing in Richardson. Is there a tie there in your mind, or is that something we're investigating?
The concern, I think you're referring to a community up there.
Mm-hmm.
They're not related.
Okay.
It's short answer. I could go into detail, but they're not related.
Thank you.
To the best of my knowledge, anybody that tells you they know what's going on underground is sus. Yeah.
Second question, unrelated. Second question, unrelated. The Allendale and Rock Hill projects that were brought up before, that we have grant funding for, I know those estimates and requests for grants were made a year and a half, 18 months ago. I note on here that there's no mention of them. Are we anticipating any cost overruns or bump ups in the cost it's going to, is there enough money coming in that it will achieve what we're having for, or are we going to get a surprise bump here 6 months from now?
So fortunately, we have 2 grant funding sources, one federal, which you referred to with Rock Hill and Allendale, and one state that was NC Reserve resulting from a special appropriation of $18 million. If we need additional funding to complete Rock Hill and Allendale, we would complete them. We would complete that work with that NC Reserve. The NC Reserve funding and allocation is the last thing that we're addressing. We've been waiting to hear about the federal grants for all the other ones that we in the county put in. Unfortunately, as far as the federal grant to PFAS contaminated wells, we were not successful in any of those. But we do have that NC Reserve that'll fill the gaps at Rock Hill, Allendale, and be able to go to other places of high priority.
So we have a buffer in place?
We do, sir. No more. We shouldn't be asking for any additional funds for Rock Hill and Allendale.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
It might mean, though, less funding available to go to other areas. You may recall that whatever funding we had left over, we were going to take to the next priority zone, which was?
Spring Garden in Castlehane. That's the one that both the county and CFPUA put in grant applications on. And I believe we would have sufficient for that, and we're working with the prioritization project team to identify the next area that would go beyond that.
And it's not all difficult news. Gary's team received some good news earlier this week regarding loans and a community development block grant. Want to share that?
Yes, where the DEQ staff recommended to the State Water Infrastructure Authority to consider on their meeting on February 19th that they would approve an additional $35 million state revolving fund for Southside, which would bring the state revolving fund approval up to $140 million. And I am delighted for the county and the citizens of Scottsville Stephen Church Road that they approved a CDBG block grant in the amount of $3 million to at least partially fund extension of the water mains up in that area.
Kudos to the county staff carrying that off.
Yeah, that's great. I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, Carrie, so looking at this deferred project on Pump Station 34, that northeast interceptor, that's giving me a bit of heartburn. It looks like that goes through just incredibly densely populated, both commercial and residential. We have a known pretty bad failure. Can you talk a little bit about what that failure was like, the 2,000-foot section we replaced? What was the timing and the cost of that? And, I mean, I know.
The force main at Pump Station 34?
Yeah, that
34
going
South.
along the, yeah. That one looks kind of scary to me.
Well, I met Councilman Jim Quinn at that because we were both standing up to our ankles in sewage and trying to opine what the big response would be. It was a pleasure to meet him then. That was a tremendous occurrence for our community. There were multiple breaks, not on that section, multiple breaks, but there was one break along there that resulted in the total replacement of 2,000 feet of that section of force main. The rest of it was evaluated and found to be sound. It was evaluated again in the 2014 section, and we'll evaluate it again in those same spots. We'll dig down on it in the same spots as the original evaluation between now and next year. If we find anything of concern, and of all these, this recommendation is the one that provided most pause, for me, Beth, and others. But we will not be asleep at the switch. We will, if we find that there's anything of concern, we'll be back mid-year asking for funds because this is a high consequence line.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You wanted to go back again?
Well, I just wanted to kind of refresh what I said at the beginning of this. This is not the recommendation that the engineering team would have brought to you using our standard risk analysis. I charged them directly to look closely and look to accept greater risk. As this goes through long-range planning, our long-range planning committee may look at this and go, that's not a risk we're willing to accept. And then they'll add that project back in. But we wanted to give you as many tools as possible to manage rates. And we also want to say it's okay to get it wrong. My concern is actually we'll find it, fix it. Because we're doing our best here, but we may discover that there's a series of lines that need to be replaced. And if we get it wrong, we'll come back in the middle of the year and say, we actually do need this project. It didn't work out the way we hoped, and that will have rate and expenditure consequences. But we're cutting back some on our conservatism in developing our CIP to give you more flexibility in your rate discussions. Yes, sir. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Could you go back and repeat the change in the state design criteria?
So by legislative fiat, they said that the sewage generated by a single residential bedroom is dropped from 120 gallons per day to 75 gallons per day. Now, based on the data in our system, that is actually closer to what we're actually seeing. The consequence of that is that it gets rid of our margin.
Well, that was the question, a follow-up question I was going to have. That 75 is closer to what we're really experiencing. So in using that and saying we have this much capacity left in those two pump stations, we're not just taking some arbitrary number that's been brought down by the state. We're actually looking at what we're actually experiencing here. Thank you very much.
Mr. Smith, in our engineering department, the prime directive is don't do anything stupid.
Yeah.
If you ever see us doing anything stupid, let us know.
And again, we appreciate the work that was done at the state level to try to right-size that. It's also a reality that local governments, utilities have been leaning on that conservatism because there are other unknowns like inflow and infiltration. The rate of infill and infiltration might seem a steady increase over time, but we could have some unknown series of consequences that causes it to increase quickly. So that was a bit of conservatism that was giving us some flexibility that is now out of the system. And that's okay. Just be aware that if I'm making it okay for these guys to get it wrong. They're doing their best. I'm telling them take a little conservancy out of it. And if we get it wrong, it will be on your executive director. I'll come back and tell you we got it wrong, and we'll ask to correct it.
Consequences.
Gary, before you
if
step
get
down.
wrong, though, are
There will be consequences.
Gary, just following up on Ms. Cannon's comments earlier about the Northeastern Interceptor, it's a sheer delight to have somebody who was actually there on the ground and can remember that. You talk about institutional memory, because that was a really serious issue that affected our entire community and our development community. It led eventually to, I don't even use the word, a building issue as far as permitting goes. But if I remember correctly, it was some of the reasons behind that were substandard materials and also a lack of quality control and installation on those sections of the Northeast Interceptor that had gone into the construction of that. Is my memory correct on that?
Yes, sir. That's part of the reason. Yes, sir.
Good. Two issues that I know that we put an increased focus on in modern days, I guess, so it wouldn't happen again. So I really appreciate that, because I know for a lot of people, you know, civilians and non-civilians, it kind of came out of nowhere, because that section of the Northeast Interceptor was not that old when it failed so miserably. And it really went to the credibility of this organization. Well, we weren't even, born at that time. It really was a crisis of confidence within the community as to how our water and sewer was being handled as we were experiencing tremendous growth. I think all of those issues have been resolved, and we learned a lot from those lessons, so it won't happen again.
We hope, sir.
Good. Thank you, Gary.
All right, I think that's it for long-range planning. All right, moving on to Finance Committee. Mr. Ward.
Yes, Finance Committee met February 5th. Minutes are in the packet. And we'll have a presentation on monthly financials.
Good morning. So just a quick update on kind of our progress through the year. You can see this is our pie chart. That's our point in time look at our different fund balance categories. So you can see that our unassigned is just under $40 million. That's kind of the big thing that we're looking at. This is that trend over time. You can see back in this past fiscal year, we ended the year in a slight deficit. This green kind of shaded area was under that $50 million unassigned fund balance target. And here we are, new fiscal year, kind of trying to make our way back, right? So will we be able to, is the question, right? And so we are continuing to see a little bit of underperformance in terms of our retail water and sewer revenues. You can see combined fixed charges and volume charges for both water and sewer kind of compared to our budget, and remember, our budget is seasonally adjusted. We don't spread it out evenly over 12 months. We actually look at past consumption history and how that's shaken out, over each month. So compared to budget, we're about $600,000 under where we would have expected to be, right? On the SDC side, we continue to see challenges there. So you can see on the left-hand side, expected number of single ERU SDCs on the water and the sewer side. The budget numbers are that light blue, the actual numbers are the dark blue. You can see that the dark blue is under the light blue. And this is how that translates into dollars. So looking at, we would have expected to get about $5.7 million so far this year in SDC revenues. We're about 3.3. So a couple $1 million under there. So how do we avoid a deficit? So one thing is, well, maybe consumption goes up. Maybe we experience some customer growth there. Maybe that manifests itself in terms of SDCs, and we can kind of narrow that gap. Yes, and or it's about aligning our expenditures with kind of our new revenue reality, right? And so we've been taking some steps to do that. For example, we've been going and taking a critical look at lapsed salaries, so our budget for salaries and benefits during the year. We can see through vacancies or other things that we've kind of been underspending. So we've been carving out that expenditure authority, parking it in, we call it a contingency line, but it actually carves it out so our departments can't spend it. And so the plan is to kind of accumulate some budgetary dollars into that line, and then eventually take back later in this year a budget amendment that actually reduces the budget. Okay, so that will help kind of reduce the risk, I guess I should say, of having a deficit in this year. Any questions on that?
Yeah, John, if I heard you right, you're basically grabbing the salary lag and moving it out. Of course, the lag is associated with the positions that are vacated for whatever reason and not been filled. Are we losing anything organizationally by those positions not being filled?
So this is only backwards looking. We're not taking future budgetary authority to actually fill those positions and pay those positions going forward. This is only backward looking.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Kind of, yeah.
John, how might that funding have been used otherwise, since we're holding it in this kind of special reserve? How might the departments have used that in years past?
Sure. So that money always would have been there. However, we've kind of changed the practice because there are emerging things that come up during the year that weren't anticipated in the budget. And that would have been a funding source for some of those things. So what this really means is there's a tightening of the belt, so to speak. And we're not willing to fund some emergent need, but if it's kind of not a need, then we're really being cognizant of that and making sure that we're kind of being as tight as we can.
For example, a critical operational capital need,
Yeah.
we'll take care of, but one that we might be able to defer by getting some more life out of it. In years past, we might have went ahead and replaced that chemical pump. Now we will not be doing so. It'll be baked into next year's budget. And essentially, it flows through the operations budget. It gives the operations folks notice that we're going to have to tighten the belt a little bit. There's less backstopping to address some kind of emergency need that arises.
Ken, here's my specific concern. Something like plan review. If, for instance, we had a absence or we're missing somebody in the plan review department, we don't replace them. That has a kind of an almost invisible look, in something that I know we feel a lot of in the development community. Can I be assured that that won't happen?
Before I look at a hiring freeze, I will speak to the board about that. A hiring freeze is one of many tools available to try to balance revenues and expenditures. So we are not at this time proposing something along those lines. But we are acquiring lap salaries, and we're putting those aside instead of having them available for other things.
Ken, I guess I'm missing something. I promise I will not pull on this thread too long, but I can see where we would have, you again lose this theoretical plan reviewer. And that money would fall into the salary lag issue. It gets moved by John over in the contingency. It's no longer there for the department to hire.
No, it's
that
still there
person.
for when they come in. It's just not there for when they weren't there.
The old stuff.
Okay.
If they come in the next month, it's there for them it's there.
To be hired.
Yes,
Right,
yes.
right. I haven't
yeah.
asked staff to slow down hiring. I haven't asked HR to slow down hiring.
Yeah.
And I haven't asked staff to freeze hiring yet. And I'm not telegraphing that I'm doing that, but it's a tool in the toolbox. Before we do something like that, we will sit down with the finance committee and have a conversation.
Don't we have a contract for outsourcing plan review if we get,
Too big.
all of a sudden get this big surge? Or do we have a contract for that?
Not to my knowledge. Gary, do we have any standing contracts to outsource plan review if we had a large surge?
We have had such in the past, if we needed them, we could certainly stand them up. But I believe we have the capacity to be able to meet what we're anticipating.
Right. So I'll repeat, since Gary wasn't next to a microphone. We have the capacity in short order to outsource it if we need to, but we don't have any standing contracts. And we have done so in the past. Right now, we're comfortable with the capacity. And kind of to reiterate, there's not a hiring freeze or a hiring slowdown. We're taking the money that is there because the position's vacant naturally, and we're setting it aside. But future steps, if we continue to have challenging trends, could consider such of those things.
I wanted to mention a couple of other things. I think we got the calendar in here, didn't you, Julia?
That, it was with the debt.
Oh, was it? Sorry.
There.
Here we go. I know this is a lot. Long story short, so we've made the decision to move our bond sale back about a month. From, I think it was March 20th before to, I think the new date is April 16th. This might say, okay, it says the 16th. I want to assure you that that's not an issue. This happens all the time. This is not going to be perceived negatively by the market. This decision was really driven by Southside. Now, this bond issuance, this 2025 series, is not going to fund Southside. However, you know, part of a bond issuance always involves doing what's called a financial feasibility study. And it's literally just like our rate model, basically, right? So we're projecting out future rates. We're looking at projected future debt service coverage, fund balance, those types of things. And what that does, it's kind of an independent consultant's assurance to the credit rating agencies, to the underwriter, to be able to say that, hey, this debt issuance is not going to not be financially feasible, right? They'll be able to pay the debt service, right? And so the big driver of that, it's a multi-year look. It normally covers a 5-year period. We're going to have it cover a 6-year period because that last year is when the full effect of Southside in 2031 kind of takes effect. But obviously Southside being such a monumental project and having such a big financial impact is impacting our finances greatly over the next 5 to 6 years, right? So that requires some detailed talks with the LGC, who has the ultimate approval of our debt. There's been a couple of changes. Obviously, we have a new treasurer, right? And we're really looking at optimizing the structure on that Southside debt in order to be the most advantageous to our ratepayers. And so we're kind of pushing on some unique kind of structural things. We're looking at capitalized interest during the construction period. We're looking at a longer term, maybe a 30-year term compared to the kind of the standard vanilla, no questions asked 25-year term. We're looking at doing some things like, instead of doing the revenue bond to fund Southside in 2027 and then paying that debt service starting shortly after that, maybe looking at doing like a cash line of credit, a liquidity facility where we're only drawing on what we need and then we're paying that off through a revenue bond issue in 2030 or 2031. So there's all of these unique kind of structural things that kind of deviate from the normal practice of what LGC is kind of used to seeing. Not to say that they haven't approved these things in the past. I think certainly with the prior treasurer, it was less likely that those types of things would have been approved. But in our conversations so far with LGC, they seem very open to all these options. And this financial feasibility study, working with Raftellus, is a way that we can model out all of these scenarios and actually demonstrate the benefit to the LGC. So we're working through that. It kind of takes some time. If you really press LGC to make a decision, they'll default to a no kind of thing, and so it's kind of a slow walk. So this delay just kind of gives us a little more time to really nail down the structure for the Southside issuance. The other thing too is the March 20th sale would have come the day after a FOMC meeting, so a Fed meeting, and normally there can be some volatility, right, in the markets after those meetings. Moving into 4/16, we don't have that same issue, so that's kind of another benefit of moving it back a month. Are there any questions on that?
I don't have a question, but just a comment that the board will have a chance to vote on this in March, correct? So that's the second bite of the apple. The first one was when we approved the resolution to go to the LGC. So this is the chance when the board will get to approve this bond, correct?
That's exactly right. So in March, we'll actually be bringing the bond order for the Finance Committee's consideration and then for the board's consideration. And that's the actual order, right? It's, y'all are saying go out and buy bonds or sell bonds. Sorry.
John, did I hear you say a 30-year term?
Mm-hmm.
Has the LGC ever approved a 30-year term before?
Yes.
When? I know that's come up in the past with the county issues, and I've never heard anything outside of a 20. So you're confident in that? I'm not, pinning you down as to what project it was.
Yeah, it's definitely not uncommon. It's certainly less common. They normally like to see that 25 years. I think what helps us in this situation is, this Southside bond issuance is going to be almost exclusively, if not exclusively, to fund Southside, which has a 50, 60-year useful life, right? What they're really concerned about is issuing debt for a longer period for an asset that is, they like to align that, right? This concept of intergenerational equity and kind of spreading out the cost, the principal, and the interest, over the life of those assets, right? So I don't think they'll have really any problem with that.
That's great news.
Let's see. So, just as an FYI, we're still looking at. I think we communicated some rate increase numbers, kind of the impact to the average bill under kind of these new Southside numbers that we've been getting. And we were looking, over the next 5 to 6 years, taking up the average bill anywhere between 40 and let's call it 50%, somewhere around 45% over the next 5 years. We are seeing that same thing through our rate consultant in the feasibility study. Those numbers have basically been verified by them. So just wanted to let you know that. So pretty big level of magnitude here, talking about raising bills 45% compared to where they are today, over the next 5 to 6 years, right? So I wanted to talk a little bit about budget because 'tis the season. So next month, we are going to be starting our budgetary conversations. And what we're really focusing on is policy tools and policy options that have budgetary impacts that we can bring to this board that have budgetary savings, but obviously have other consequences as well. So talking about things like fluoride, right? There's a budgetary savings associated with that, but there could be other impacts, public health, right? Taking a critical look at the level of PFAS treatment, right, and the number of GAC changeouts, having that conversation, getting to something that is maybe a lower level of treatment, obviously still compliant with the standards, but could we get away with doing 1 or 2 less changeouts, right? And there's a cost associated with that. So we're going to be bringing kind of a menu of options next month, and we're going to be having that conversation as part of finance and as part of this meeting next month. So just wanted to give you an update.
And that ties into the CIP recommendation. So we want to kind of let you know that we're looking across all expenditures. We're looking for new revenues. And of course, we are going to work closely with our parent agencies, our sponsor agencies, to lobby for funding for Southside in the future. All of that is driven to drive down these projected rate increases.
All right.
It's going to be a fun
Thanks,
ride.
John. Yeah. Not what I was thinking.
John, before you leave the podium, just one other tiny bit of good news here. On your slide, I can't see the number, slide 11, the cash and investments, I noted that our yield, as you projected a couple of months ago, our personal yield, or for CFPUA is now exceeding the state. So, nice job. You called that out several months ago as it would happen in the future, and here it is. We have evidence, albeit tiny, but still good and important, so thank you.
Yeah, and that's actually a little bit, there's a dilutive effect there. We've talked about some of the cash flow challenges that come with the great news of getting all of these grants and getting all of these loans, right? It's good to have over the long term. However, all of these things are on a reimbursement basis, and we've been seeing some pretty long turnaround times from the EQ. And so we're having to cash flow a lot. Long story short, that reduces the amount that we're able to actually go out and actively invest in other long-term things besides this NCCMT very short-term portfolio. So it is greater, if not for some of these, cash flow, crunch, kind of issues that we've been having lately. It actually would be a little higher, but I appreciate you pointing that out, Rob. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Tom. Moving on to Sustainability Committee.
We have no report.
Okay. The Human Resources Committee is scheduled to meet right after this board meeting, so we'll have an update at the next board meeting on that as well. Any old business to come before the group? All right, any other closing comments? If not, I need a motion to go into closed session.
A motion to go into closed session to discuss CFPUA v. Comores, potential litigation, contract negotiations, and a personnel item.
So moved.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. All right, come back at 10:10, and we're going to start.
Yes.